The Great Maple will be the judge of that. Hello everybody, it's Rhino and I am here today with Hannah at the Pixar Place Hotel at the Disneyland Resort right outside of Great Maple, which is their new restaurant in this newly finished, refurbished, renovated resort over here. And we're gonna be doing some dining today. Great Maple, a modern American eatery, has actually 4 locations. There's one in Newport Beach, Pasadena, San Diego, and now the Pixar Place Hotel. I've been looking at this menu coming in and out of here, and I have to say, like, I'm kind of dragging my feet a little bit on this review just because it does seem expensive, and I don't know, there's like nothing really screaming to me on the menu. So I don't really know how this is gonna go today, but I'm going in with a positive vibe, even though that sounded a little bit negative. So I am going to open myself up to what Great Maple has to offer. Before we get inside and get started on this review though, I do want to remind everybody that this and everything that we do is brought to you by Dreams Unlimited Travel. They're experts at helping you plan the perfect Disneyland, Disney whatever vacation. When you book with them, it costs you nothing extra on your trip, and you help support the channel and all the content that we produce. So check them out, dreamsunlimitedtravel.com. And a big thank you out there to our Patreon supporters. We couldn't do it without you. If you want to become a Patreon supporter and get various behind the scenes or exclusive content from different members of the DIS team, you can head over to patreon.com/DISUnlimited to learn more. Now that I have said that, we are ready to go and ready to dine and just be the gluttonous pigs that we are. Oink, oink, everyone. We are seated inside of Great Maple Modern American Eatery, and I have to say that I really like the feel and vibe that this restaurant is putting out. I feel like the color palette they've chosen to go with, it feels all very crisp, clean, and it definitely delivers on that modern, you know, the modern American eatery. It feels modern, and it feels nice. I mean, this is the type of restaurant I like. It feels almost like elegant without intimidation, if that makes sense. I really like how they've worked in some of the Pixar characters in art throughout the restaurant as well. It's got a really beautiful bar over here that has like these weird chairs where there's like ones where it's like a love seat almost, and I'm like, I hope you don't have to sit there with a stranger, or maybe that's your future partner. Who even knows? Anything could happen here at the Great Maple Modern American Eatery. Now, we have been seated and we've ordered some things. We ordered some drinks, so I'll tell you about my drink, which is the Maple Bacon Old Fashioned. It is $18. It is bacon wash bourbon, maple syrup, bitters with a thick cut smoked piece of bacon. You know what? I don't know what bourbon they used to wash this with, but it's a pretty solid old fashioned. Honestly, it really delivers on all those flavors without feeling. Sometimes I feel like if you do a flavored old fashioned, they like go way too far on the flavor. So like I can taste it. The bacon gives it that sort of smoky, greasy part of the bacon. Like the smell is in there of that, if that makes sense. You know, it has that reminiscent feeling of like, oh, someone's cooking bacon. Just gonna have another little sip there. But it's very good. $18, I know that does sound like a lot, but it does seem like across of Disneyland property, that's sort of the prices for mixed drinks right now. So I feel like it's in line with the rest of the resort. So I don't feel like these drinks are necessarily insanely overpriced. I mean, there's a couple that's hard to swallow. Like there's an espresso martini that's $22. It's like, but again, we are at a Disney park in California. Now for the appetizer, I kind of voted and I said, let's go with the most interesting sounding thing, which is actually a Great Maple signature item. That is the portobello mushroom fries for $21. They are described as Parmesan, red pepper flakes, and they come with basil pesto aioli. I, for some reason, thought to myself that these were like truffle fries essentially, because I was like, oh, truffles mushroom. It's not. They're actually like mushroom. I get that reading is difficult for me, but I thought these were fantastic. I thought they were really crispy. I know that sometimes for me, portobello mushrooms, I feel like can get a little slimy, a little like gooey, but I felt like the way they were cut and the way they were battered, it was really nice. It's crispy. They sat on the table for a little bit, and I had another one, and they were still like really crispy and everything like that. The basil pesto aioli, I don't know how much that adds to it. It's just a nice little sauce to have with it. I think I would have liked maybe something with like maybe a little lemon wedge on here to just give it a little bit of brightness to it. But other than that, I think this is great. I think it's a great shareable appetizer. Phenomenal. So far, so good. Hannah, tell me about your stuff.
All right, so this is actually my second time inside a Great Maple. I snuck in here yesterday, sat at the bar, had a cocktail. No surprise, I had the espresso martini, which I loved. So I'll just give you a little taste. I'll tell you about that real quick. It's $22, and it's made with Cafe Moto espresso, vodka, Kahlua, and Bailey's, and served up with our twist. Honestly, I'm not sure what the twist is, but it does come with little espresso beans on top. It has a little bit of that froth. I thought that was great, but I didn't have that today. I went with something different. So I actually, surprisingly, got here first. And so I did start with, I didn't take a picture of it, but I am going to tell you about it. I did get the double shot latte, which I chose the cinnamon toast because that's fun. It's $7. It comes out in a big latte cup, like a latte bowl. Very sweet, but not overly sweet, and it did taste just like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, which is great. And I did like it because it was a double shot, but the size of the mug, it wasn't too much milk. Sometimes when I drink a latte, I'm like, ooh, that was a lot of hot milk, and sometimes you don't want to drink a bunch of hot milk before you go into a theme park. So anyways, I did that, and then, I was like, I'm on vacation. I would like to try another one of their cocktails, and I was very excited. I didn't realize this actually when I ordered it, but I got one of, there's two unique cocktails to this location. So I know Rhino's going to mention it, or has, but there is a couple different Great Maples in this area. It's not the only one here at Pixar Place. But okay, so all to say, I got the fresh cucumber gimlet. It's $18, and it is made with gin. I'm not sure what gin, it just says gin, lime, simple syrup, and cucumber. So your standard gimlet. I've got it right here. It does come out not in a typical glass, and more of like a margarita glass or like a short tumbler, but maybe that's for the best. It's less accident prone that way. It does come with like a big sphere ice cube, which is nice, and 2 cucumber slices. Very refreshing, solid cocktail. Nothing like crazy because it's a gimlet, it's a standard cocktail. I feel like this would be great if you were sitting outside on the patio, out in the sun. We're inside, which, speaking of, I actually really am pleasantly surprised by the atmosphere here. When I saw pictures online, I thought it looked kind of basic, and in some ways it is, but I like these dark green colors. I like the gold accents. It's kind of like my vibe of interior decorating. And the bar area is very cool. There's a couple seats that are like can sit 2 people, which is just fun. Also, I have to say the Pixar like headshots that they have of the characters are like so funny to me. When you walk by the hotel, there's one of Buzz Lightyear and Jessie, and it just cracks me up. Like, it just reminds me of like a Vogue headshot, or maybe even like an in memoriam picture. But anyways, to me, they're hilarious. I love it. It's a little funny because you can tell they just like went with their usual decor and theming, and then they're like, hey, we're going to throw up some great Pixar photos. So anyways, I mean, so far I'm digging it. Yeah, no complaints so far.
What did you think of the appetizer?
Okay, so we did thoughts on the appetizer. So we went with one because we're going to order a lot of food, and I really liked it. These are the mushroom fries. They came recommended to us, and even our server who dropped them off was like, "You're going to love these. You're not going to be disappointed." I have to agree. It was a really big portion. Like, that easily could have shared amongst 2-3 people. This would be a great thing to get and just sit at the bar, have a good cocktail, and just eat those. But I thought they had a good flavor to them. They are big pieces of portobello mushroom. Anytime you throw in aioli, that's great. It's a pesto aioli. So I feel like everything really worked together, and I only had one of them and felt like that was pretty filling. So yeah, I would get that again.
For the entrees, I was, a little, I was very indecisive. The thing about the Great Maple is it has an all-day menu. So it's got brunch favorites, there are mains, there's salads, sandwiches and burgers, shareables, like I said, and then sweets, which include donuts donuts, seasonal donuts, powdered sugar beignets. More about that later. I asked the server a couple of questions, you know, and ultimately I felt like I went with another signature grape maple item, which is not something I would normally order, but the server said it was very popular, and he said it was good. So fried chicken and donuts, $27. This is a buttermilk fried chicken, maple bacon donuts with maple syrup. The thing here is on their sweets menu, there is the famous maple bacon donuts, which this was served with 2 full-size donuts. They are fantastic. I'm not a big maple bacon person. I know that sounds crazy because I literally ordered a drink and an item that has both those things in it, but I want to embrace that side of it. I feel like this was excellent though. This donut was cooked to perfection. It was fresh. It was dense. You know, the bacon on top of it, it was a plentiful and thickly cut, and it was the fried chicken. I really, really enjoyed. I let it sit for a little while after I ate some, and then I had some more. But it was crispy the whole time. It is cut from chicken thighs, which at first I was like, I don't know about chicken thighs, but I felt like it actually really kept the chicken was really nice. And I'm gonna say a word I hate. It was juicy. Gross. But it was really good, crispy. This is definitely a splittable item though, because you get 2 chicken thighs and then 2 full-size, I'm not even kidding, this full-size, big old donuts on here. So I would split this with somebody. You don't have to, but eating this and then going to a park, or maybe this is your dinner, I don't know. I feel like there's going to be a tiny little maple tree just pushing down on my heart in a little bit. So, but I would definitely recommend this. I thought it was absolutely delicious and fantastic. Hannah, what about your item?
So I have to agree with everything Rhino said about his fried chicken and donuts. That might have been the winner at the table, and I feel like you have to share it. You would be, no offense to anyone out there, you'd be a monster to eat all this by yourself. I think we both agreed on that, but that was a winner for me. I feel like that's something I would like to come back and get again. And I'm not actually a huge donut person. I like a hot Krispy Kreme donut, or I like an apple cider donut or a cake donut. But, you know, donuts are not usually my thing. They were fluffy, they were warm, delicious. But enough about that. I chose the Cajun Shrimp Biscuit Benedict for $27. And actually that was one that our server recommended to us as well. And I felt like, being the resident Southerner, I had to comment on the Cajun shrimp and the biscuit. That's, that would be my barometer of how good of a restaurant this is. So it is made with Cajun butter shrimp. It does have arugula on it, poached eggs, of course, and Cajun holidays. And it's on top of a white cheddar biscuit with sour cream and onion scalloped potatoes. And man, I gotta tell you, again, this is huge dish. This is another shareable entree, and for $27, y'all, that ain't bad at Disney. You can get Cajun shrimp for basically $13 a person. So I feel like the value was great. That was one of the things, walking into this restaurant, I was like, man, these prices are kind of high. And then you start thinking about splitting stuff, and you're like, okay, not too bad for a theme park. So I felt like there were plenty of shrimp. They were big, they were tender, they were flavorful. I have to say I was also really impressed with the biscuit. It was definitely fluffy and cheesy. I made a comment I'm kind of embarrassed of. It kind of reminded me of a Red Lobster Cheddar Bay biscuit, but obviously elevated. Sorry, I'm trash. I'm trash. You like what you like, okay? But you guys also know about those Cheddar Bay biscuits, okay? But no, I thought that was great, because a lot of times I feel like any sort of biscuits, Benedict or something like that, it's the biscuit is just a serving vessel for what you're eating. And actually, I would have eaten that biscuit by itself. The scalloped potatoes that came with it were fantastic. They're everything you want a scalloped potato to be. It must be made in a casserole dish, because it came out in a big square. But again, huge portion. The only thing that was missing from this, and I think Rhino agreed, it just, you hear Cajun and you think spice. I think Cajun seasoning, a Tony Chachere's type, and it was missing that for sure. I don't think it hindered the taste of the dish, but I did add a little bit of salt and pepper to it, and some hot sauce I think would have been great. But again, I would order my entree again. So color me surprised because I enjoyed everything so far.
I know we've ordered a lot of food and it feels very gluttonous almost, but we wanted to be thorough in this review because this is a new restaurant and I feel like it's kind of like a signature restaurant. I know it's not signature, but it feels like, I mean, it is this hotel's main restaurant. So I wanted to kind of do something across everything. So this is my way of justifying how we kind of got a dessert, although they're labeled as sweets on the menu. So they don't have to be a dessert, but like I said, my fried chicken and donuts came with the famous maple bacon donuts cooked. Like there were 2 of those. You can get that as a sweet and it comes with 3 of those and they are fresh made to order. Those are $18 for that. There's also seasonal donuts that were also $18, which right now are blueberry with lemon curd. And it took all of my restraint on this planet not to order those. But I thought because we'd already had, because, you know, Hannah tried my donut and I had the donuts with here, we had to try the 3rd item on here, which is the powdered sugar beignets for $17. They come with a house-made lemon curd, so that's how I was able to talk myself off a ledge. There were 4 of these, and I need to tell you right now, I am not a beignet snob or anything like that. I think these were the best beignets I've ever had. They were like not, I don't want to say super dense. They were somewhere between light and airy and dense, like right in the middle. For me, it was like that perfect, like it was puffy, it was fluffy. I mean, they were warm when they came out, so they were definitely cooked to order. And our server like shook them up in a bag for us, so he did the work, which was great. And they also, I feel like the icing might have a little hint of lemon in it or something, because it gave me those like sort of powdered like lemon tea cookie vibes a little bit, but it was like crisp on the outside, warm on the inside, and with that lemon curd, girl, I would 1000% get these again. For $17 for 4 of them, I felt like, honestly, like if I was staying here, I'd run down and be like, can I just grab an order of these to go like and take them up to the room like in the morning for breakfast or something like that. I highly recommend these. Hannah, I know you can be a little bit of a beignet snob. What did you think of these?
I actually did love the beignets too, and I wouldn't call myself a beignet snob. It's just like you compare everything to the real thing, let's say. But no, they were delicious. When they first came in, I had some concerns. Well, I will say this: they came out in a paper bag, and you shook them up, and then you put them on our plate. So like all that is tracking with the real deal beignets. But then on the plate, they almost looked. I was concerned they were going to be like little biscuits because they look kind of like really puffy. But they were good. Like the flavor was awesome. It took us a second to realize that I think the dough might have had a little bit of lemon zest or something extra too. But they were still fluffy, but they were denser than your typical beignet. But I mean, who cares? They were really good. And the lemon curd, like you can't go wrong. And I just love our server. Spoiler alert, we couldn't eat all the beignets because we have had a ton of food. So he let us take one to go, and he gave us a little thing of lemon curd to take back to the room. So I thought that was really cool. But yeah, I totally agree with Rhino. This is something that like would be a great shareable breakfast, or just stop in and get them to go and enjoy them with a cup of coffee in the room. That sounds like heaven. So I have to say, when we found out we were coming to Pixar Place Hotel, obviously I was very excited, but I've heard mixed reviews about Great Maple. It's a small regional chain. It's not a Disney-owned restaurant. And I just honestly wasn't excited. Looking at the menu too, the prices seemed kind of high. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to pay premium prices when there's so much food that I enjoy at Disneyland over in the parks. And I have to say, I loved it. And y'all know we aren't always the most positive people. So I'm just going to jump right into the numbers here. For ambiance, I gave it a 6. And it's not super Disney, right? Like there's the cool Pixar portraits, and then that's it. There's not Disney music playing. There's no other touches. But I do love this indoor-outdoor feel that it has. Like every time you walk by the restaurant, I just love that there's like a fire pit outside, and it just looks inviting. It definitely has that kind of California vibe to it. But it's a bigger restaurant. Like when we were here over the weekend, it was very busy. Today it was pretty quiet, so we were able to just like walk up, get a table right away. I think that's a perk if you're staying here and, like looking for somewhere to eat, but maybe don't have a reservation. Food preparation and presentation. I'm actually gonna give it a 9, and maybe that's a little strong, but I don't know if it's like the portion sizes, but I just feel like everything when it came to the table, I was like, oh my gosh. You know, the beignets like weren't, you know, like any specialty garnish or whatever. Do they need specialty garnish? I don't know. I don't think they do. He also like, you know, shook the bag at the table with the powdered sugar and yeah, and like I feel like even it was funny, our friend pointed out to us, I feel like Disney restaurants are doing this everywhere, like our portobello fries were like stacked kind of like Jenga, and I guess it's just like the new thing because like Tony's does that with the breadsticks over at the Magic Kingdom. So anyways, I thought it was good. Quality taste, y'all, I'm giving it a 9 too. I liked everything I had. I liked my cocktail, I liked our appetizer, I love the beignets, I like my entree, I like the other entrees I got to try, like Rhino's, his chicken and his donuts I thought were amazing. I would come back and get that. And then service, I'm gonna give it a 7. Okay, so I alluded to, I came over here and got a drink the other day at the bar, so it was like not much service interaction, but it was like one of those where I felt like I was just a nuisance. You know, like felt like we weren't vibing together. And I was kind of getting that a little bit today. Like it wasn't, you know, and keep in mind, this is not a Disney-owned restaurant. So I feel like that's the piece that's missing. It's not Disney cast members. It's not that Disney magical touch, but it was fine. Like, you know, I guess you don't have to have a big personality. Like I don't need to become your best friend after lunch. So that's fine. And then, so actually I was going to score it even lower because it was just kind of slow, like he wasn't checking back in a lot and stuff like that. And then when he gave us a little lemon curd to take back for our beignet, I was like, all right, that's anybody who wants to bring me extra sauces to go or whatever, you'll get a point for that. Cost, okay, so I'm gonna give it a 7. This is gonna be one of my original beefs with this place was, I mean, it's like $20+ per entree, but y'all don't be getting, nobody needs to be getting an entree per person. You need to split an entree, then split a dessert, split an appetizer. That's the way to go, because I mean, of everything we got, they were all huge portions. And like, girl likes to eat, okay? It's not like I'm like, oh, let me just, you know, eat a couple french fries or whatever. So yeah, so if you split this stuff, like my meal would have been $13 a person. Like you can't beat that out in the parks for a quick service even. So yeah, so I'm still gonna rank it high if you're just looking at like face value it is, but really when we talk about splitting stuff, not so bad. So hey, that gives my total is a 38 or a 3.8 out of 5. I am pleasantly surprised. I don't know if it's the magic of Disneyland, magic of California, but I really like this and I will probably be back here again, like Rhino said, to get those beignets.
I think that I am going to be a little bit kinder on the restaurant than Hannah was, but I've only been in here the one time, so I can't speak to any other experiences or anything like that. Only what I experienced and what I had and ate and everything. For me, the ambiance, I have it at like a 9. Honestly, I think we were here at just the right time of day. The restaurant wasn't full. I liked the music, the vibe. It's like borderline lo-fi kind of music. I already said like I really enjoyed the aesthetic of the restaurant, the colors they chose and everything like that. And I like those weird, the weird portraits too that Hannah pointed out. They were kind of cool. They were fun. So I give it like a 9. Like the vibe I was feeling was in there, was cultivated correctly, and I really enjoy it. And also, I have to agree with Hannah about the inside-outside thing that they have, because they have a patio with this open door thing, and every night that I've been staying at this resort, because I am staying here right now, I have walked by in the evening and they have these really cool like fire, it's not a fire pit, but it's like fire glass set up, and it is just one of those where I'm like, wow, that looks really cool and really fun and like really like comfortable and cozy and very California. So I definitely give that a 9. Food prep and presentation, I give a 9 as well. I thought everything came out, looked gorgeous. The only little ding I get is when the beignets came out of their bag that he did shake up, they were just kind of plopped on the plate. So they were the only one that gave it a little ding, but everything else was like absolutely gorgeous. I loved the glassware. I loved the plates they chose to use. There was a lot of stuff that was just really very photogenic and very pretty, and hopefully I captured that well enough if you're watching this. So quality of taste, I also give that a 9 as well. I did not dislike a single thing I had, and I wouldn't change anything except for Hannah's meal. I did take a bite of that, and I felt like compared to everything else, it felt just maybe it was just the bite I took, but it could have used just a little bit of a kick, like a little spice, because it was described as Cajun, and I wanted a little bit of that Cajun seasoning in there. So I give it a 9, but it wasn't my meal. So for service, I'm gonna give that a 9 as well. I think I originally had it a little bit lower, but our server did kind of come around in the end. He did give me that big chunk of lemon curd to take with me. That bumped him up. And then the gentleman at the front of the restaurant who was checking us in was super nice, and he gave me like a new menu to look at for Small Bites, which is the pool bar. So everybody was very nice. Our server also was like, he did refill the waters. He did give us the space to record this and everything like that. So I'm gonna give it a 9, but I can definitely see what Hannah was talking about in terms of that vibe of the service. So costs, I have it at a 7 as well. It is expensive. There is no denying this is expensive, but like I said in the video, the drinks and stuff like that, this is the price you're gonna get across property. So it's kind of in line with prices at the Disneyland Resort right now. But if you do the split, like Hannah said, with the meals and everything like that, which I very much think you could do, I think it's worth it. And I would definitely come back here and recommend this restaurant to anybody. That comes out to a 43 out of 50, a 4.3 out of 5, which I think is actually the highest review I've given of any of these since we've been doing these dining reviews. So I really enjoyed this. I went in with very low expectations, and I'm happy to report it is in fact great. The Great Maple, or Great Maple, excuse me, it's not the Great Maple, is great. So there you have it. Thank you, everybody. If you have any questions or anything like that and you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and leave those in the comments section. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, click that bell button, you'll get notified whenever we put out new videos. If you are listening to this, please, when you have time, rate and review the podcast as well. We'd love to hear from you and get some feedback on that. But when you're planning your next Disneyland vacation, remember, Dreams Unlimited Travel. They can help you out. Cost you nothing extra on your trip, and you get the support of an amazing Dreams Unlimited travel agent. So head over to dreamsunlimitedtravel.com for a free, no obligation quote today. And a big thank you again to all those Patreon supporters out there. Couldn't do it without you. That is going to do it for me. I need to go on a very long walk to work some of this food off now. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye. Craig stole my phrase, stay hungry, so I'm just going to leave you with yummy, yummy.